I lost all my day and I can't even pick up another load today. So now I'm stuck, gotta go book a hotel.
The Los Angeles area facing a traffic nightmare. A massive fire over the weekend has closed a portion of the 10 freeway indefinitely. And late today, authorities confirmed that fire appears to be arson. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. The damaged section of freeway that's closed is a key corridor used by hundreds of thousands of drivers every day. The fire started early Saturday in 2 storage lots under the freeway. The flames burned through construction materials and the fire quickly grew. Crews shored up the most damaged section of the freeway, but officials tonight are still trying to determine the extent of the structural damage. Late today, Governor Gavin Newsom spoke about the investigation.
That it was done and set intentionally. That determination of who is responsible is an investigation that is ongoing.
There is no reason to assume that the origin of this fire or the reason this fire happened was because there were unhoused individuals nearby.
And with no clear timeline tonight on reopening the freeway, drivers are facing detours and huge backups. Fox 11's Gigi Graciette has more tonight from Los Angeles.
A warning for commuters. For the foreseeable future, scooters might outrun cars along this stretch of streets around Alameda. Truckers saying the closure of the 10 in downtown LA is already costing them time and jobs.
3.5 hours. Yeah, 40 miles. And then I lost all my day and I can't even pick up another load today. So now I'm stuck, gotta go book a hotel.
This was the scene early Saturday morning. A fire at a storage yard burning so intensely, even birds couldn't escape on their own. The massive flames shooting up around and between the freeway, damaging about 100 columns. From Skyfox, you can see the damage, and the repair work is extensive. Mayor Bass is urging anyone who works in the area to work remotely or use public transit. At the Montclair train station, commuters are grateful they have the option.
I'll take the train as far as possible from the disaster.
But those who must drive are finding this.
This is what I was expecting. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
And even short commutes are now painful.
So I usually get to work from point A to point B in 10 minutes. Now I gotta leave home like 30 minutes before.
Oh, so now it's like 4 times longer.
Exactly. So it's bad.
And that was Fox 11's Gigi Graciette reporting for us tonight. A police pursuit ended in a fiery crash into a Los Angeles home today. Chopper footage shows the suspected stolen car up in flames after plowing into that home. Los Angeles police say all suspects were taken into custody and nobody was hurt in the crash or the fire. Schools in parts of Southern California were closed again today after a fire at an old military hangar reignited over the weekend. A state of emergency has been declared in Tustin in Orange County after samples of debris and ash were found to contain asbestos, lead, arsenic, and nickel. The 17-story hangar first caught fire last Tuesday, and officials closed nearby schools 2 days later to protect children. The hangar was used by the military during World War II and later served as a set for the TV show Star Trek and the film Pearl Harbor. The Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit is drawing world leaders to San Francisco this week, and today, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen opened the meeting of Apec finance ministers. As KTVU's Greg Lee reports, Secretary Yellen urged her counterparts to forge a path to resilience and sustainability.
Welcome to the 30th Annual Finance Ministers Meeting.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen welcomed representatives from APEC's member economies to the Moscone Center. The large gathering coming after her bilateral meetings with counterparts from Australia, Indonesia, Mexico, and China.
The actions we take matter, not only for our own economies and people, but also for addressing the global challenges the world faces.
The APEC region is expected to grow in around 3.3% for the whole year. But there are some downside risks.
Ahead of the finance ministers meeting, APEC released a report showing regional trends and the challenges ahead. Among them, stubborn inflation, climate change, geopolitical tensions, and the ongoing recovery from the pandemic.
We have global problems, therefore we need global solutions. And that's the key, the multilateral coordination.
One of the major issues on the agenda, demographic shifts across the region, with the population getting older and birth rates falling.
Over the long term, We have an aging population, which means that we need to have a higher expenditure on healthcare, pensions, social security costs. Also, there's a shrinking workforce.
Much of the focus remains on the meeting of two global superpowers when President Biden meets with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Wednesday. APEC leaders say a stable economic relationship between the two countries is a win-win for the region.
The latest numbers have been about $758 billion of trading goods and services, right? And this is the highest level of trading history between U.S. and China.
APEC leaders say they try to put geopolitical issues aside while navigating economic partnerships, but the wars in Israel and Ukraine making that increasingly difficult. Secretary Yellen outlined the finance minister's goals in hopes of finding consensus.
We need to further improve our long-term economic outlook by boosting labor supply, innovation, and infrastructure investment in ways that are also sustainable and reduce inequality.
This afternoon, the White House announced President Biden will also meet with Mexican President Obrador on Friday. In Moscone Center, Greg Lee, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Also in San Francisco, Paul Pelosi, the husband of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, took the stand in the federal trial of the man who was accused of attacking him. David DePape is accused of hitting him in the head with a hammer inside the Pelosi San Francisco home last October. On the stand today, Pelosi described waking up and seeing DePape in his home. He said when police arrived, he opened the door as DePape still had the hammer in his hand. That's when Pelosi says DePape hit him in the head and arm. Pelosi was hospitalized for more than a week and says he hasn't discussed the assault with anyone but authorities. The defense did not cross-examine Pelosi. If convicted, DePape is facing life in federal prison. We learned today 2 of the 5 soldiers killed in a Black Hawk helicopter crash in the Mediterranean Sea on Friday were from the West Coast. 27-year-old Sergeant Andrew Southard was from Apache Junction, Arizona. He had a decorated 8-year military career, including a tour in Afghanistan. He received several awards, including 2 Army Commendation Medals. Also killed in that crash, 34-year-old Chief Warrant Officer Shane Barnes from Sacramento. He graduated from Gonzaga University, joined the Army, and was deployed to Afghanistan. During his service, he received several awards. The military says that Black Hawk helicopter went down during a routine refueling exercise. In Washington, 6 people were wounded in a shooting at a house party over the weekend, including a 17-year-old boy who was critically injured. Authorities say more than 100 people were at the party at a rented house in Pierce County when shots were fired early Sunday morning. The owner says the party was not authorized. Neighbors say the street turned into a chaotic scene.
A lot of cars being revved up, so I figured there was some type of a party going on. And then after that went on for a while, I heard all this cops sirens coming up and down the road. I've lived here for almost 10 years and I've never ever seen this much police activity on this road.
Authorities believe several shooters were involved here. The sheriff's office says so far no arrests have been made. In Arizona, police have made an arrest in a deadly shooting that happened at a rave. This happened in a rural area of Pinal County outside of Phoenix. Police say 29-year-old Daniel Schmidt shot 2 people at the party Saturday night after trying to steal a car. One of the victims died. The other is in intensive care. Schmidt has been booked on suspicion of murder. Today marks 1 year since 4 University of Idaho students were found dead. Police say Kaylee Consalves, Madison Mogan, Zaina Kernodal, and Ethan Chapin were killed in a house near campus. As those 4 victims are remembered, the University of Idaho is encouraging neighbors in that community to turn on their porch lights tonight in solidarity and remembrance. Brian Koberger is the suspect in this case, charged with those killings. Still ahead on West Coast Wrap tonight, making the case for algebra in middle school. Why the San Francisco School District is considering offering the course to 8th graders. Also, a bizarre robbery in Portland. Hear how a thief made off with thousands of dollars in vintage items, along with several Christmas trees.
Rain is now pushing out of Seattle and heading right there right now towards the city of San Francisco and all of California. We will track the incoming system together as your West Coast wrap continues right here.
Lawmakers joined community members in Southern California today to expand on a new law designed to prevent youth fentanyl overdoses. The law was named for 15-year-old Melanie Ramos, who accidentally overdosed and died in the bathroom of her high school in Hollywood last September. At the time, Melanie and her friend had no idea that what they were taking was fentanyl. The new law aims to prevent and respond to youth fentanyl overdoses through mandated school safety plans designed around prevention, response, training, education, and awareness.
Starting January 1st, every single school site council will have a school safety committee, a school safety council that will be required to deal with the fentanyl issue on their campus and amongst their families.
California State Senator Dave Cortese authored that measure. He says fentanyl is responsible for 1 in 5 deaths among young people across the state. The son of a Hollywood executive was charged today with 3 counts of murder in connection with the disappearance of his wife and in-laws. 35-year-old Samuel Haskell appeared in a Los Angeles courtroom today. The judge set Haskell's arraignment date for December. She also announced Haskell, who was being held on $2 million bail, is now being held on no bail. And here's a look at Haskell's missing wife and her parents. Officials say they lived together along with the couple's 3 young kids. The LA Times is reporting Haskell tried to pay day laborers $500 to discard his debris last week. They were told they were disposing rocks, but before they made the dump, they looked inside the bags after describing what they thought felt like meat. They say they saw body parts. They immediately returned those bags to Haskell and then reported that to authorities. A push continues to bring algebra classes to middle school students in San Francisco. As it stands right now, students have to wait until the 9th grade to take an algebra class. KTVU's James Torres tells us how city leaders are working to make changes.
Board supervisors want to reverse a 10-year-old decision that no longer allows 8th grade students to take algebra before they enter high school. They say if all things go according to plan, that can happen as soon as the beginning of next school year. Advocates and city supervisors spoke at the steps of San Francisco City Hall. District 4's Joel Engardio is leading the charge on a ballot measure to be considered in March on whether people are in favor of allowing algebra in the 8th grade.
The concept was well intended. Some kids were not ready for algebra in the 8th grade, and so the idea was to delay everyone to 9th grade. Well, it failed. It didn't work. The kids who were not ready did not perform better, and the kids who were good at math left public schools.
A Stanford study showed performance results over the years did not change for minority students. Many parents agree the experiment didn't work and said so at a Rules Committee meeting this morning.
They deserve to have every opportunity that their peers down the peninsula have. Down the peninsula, I have a child who took algebra in 6th grade. And I think every child in San Francisco should also have that opportunity.
When everyone's doing it, why are we delaying it in San Francisco? In a city with so many potentials, we should be supporting our families.
The chambers even heard from a 6-year-old girl who said she learned algebra in the 1st grade.
And I think there should be no law of waiting until 9th grade, because that is a long time.
Voters can have their say on a March ballot, but official changes must come from SFUSD. Superintendent Matt Wayne addressed the issue at a district meeting in May.
Our current approach to math in SFUSD is not working.
He launched a math focus group to see what re-implementing algebra in middle school could look like. Rex Ridgway is part of that group, whose granddaughter did not have the option.
They either doubled up like I did with my granddaughter, or they left the school system.
The school district will have a meeting tomorrow night where board members will hear an update on where the district stands on how it wants to teach math the next school year. In San Francisco, I'm James Torres, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And starting next year, California schools will begin teaching students media literacy in an effort to combat the spread of misinformation. The new law requires all K-12 students learn media literacy skills, including recognizing fake news and thinking critically about what they see on the internet. The topic will be included in existing English, science, math, history, and social study classes throughout the school year. Authorities in Portland are searching tonight and investigating a break-in and theft that puts a real damper on the holiday spirit. The owner of Bloke, an open-air garden shop, says somebody broke in over the weekend and stole a number of vintage items and a half-dozen large Christmas trees. Owner Justin Waddell believes the theft of such large trees and such a huge collection of vintage items would have taken some planning.
It had to be somebody that was clearly aware of what we offered, and literally like 15-foot tall Christmas trees. So it's disheartening.
The owner says those losses were worth up to $10,000, and this time of year, all of that income is crucial. A sizable storm is headed onshore with a lot of rain expected along the west coast throughout this week. In San Jose, utility crews were out today preparing, shoveling leaves and clearing out catch basins. The Bay Area saw a very wet winter last year, and city officials want to be ready for the possibility of another one this year.
We are tracking together. We have a coordinated response. We're prepared to respond as one team, which is a very happy change from where we have been.
Last year, during the wet weather, San Jose city crews handled about 1,000 clogged drains and 20 potholes that needed fixing every single day. They also responded to more than 1,000 downed trees.
And I think I was out there with every single one of those trees, Alex.
I'm sure.
Yeah, it's great to see people preparing because we do have rain moving this way. Today in the Bay Area, in Oakland, it was a great day to get out and about and start preparing for the incoming system that promises to bring rain showers not only to the Bay Area, but into Southern California, the Los Angeles area as well. It was 64 today in Oakland. Hey, Seattle, you already saw the rain from this system. Today, mostly cloudy skies on the backside of that area of low pressure at 51 degrees. And in Southern California, Los Angeles, after high temperatures in the 80s all weekend long, you drop to the mid-70s today with lots of clear skies, but that's going to change. Let's go ahead and take a look at our futurecast because this is a very complex system. Right now, it looks like it just wants to meander off the California coast, tossing in waves, periods of rain showers from the Los Angeles area through the Bay Area. See a little bit of light precipitation off that northwestern quadrant of the state of California. That's about it at this particular time. Although we're continuing to see high thin clouds drift across the desert southwest. Meanwhile, it's currently in the high 50s in San Francisco. We have 51 degrees in Eureka, 54 now in Reno with clear skies. It's 61 degrees in San Diego. Let's get back to this because this is so interesting. The only thing certain about this complex system here is the uncertainty of it. It's got a big job to do. It's got to bust through a lot of dry air mass before it drops some precipitation at this particular time. By Tuesday morning's commute in throughout the Bay Area, you will have a little bit of wet pavement. Southern California, and you're not going to see the rain until Thursday. And when you do, you're looking at these totals. You're saying that's not much. Well, that's just one wave through Thursday. You're going to be in and out of the rain in Los Angeles and around the south end all the way through the weekend. Let's go ahead and put your forecast out there for you. Here you have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday into the Seattle area. You've got some dry skies, albeit a little bit on the cloudy side. For the Bay Area, we're talking about in and out of the rain from Tuesday through Thursday. Temperatures not adversely affected. The winds will not be picking up as well. And then for Southern California, temperatures in the 70s again on Tuesday, high 60s dropping notably by Wednesday. Then here comes the rain by Thursday. Check out Phoenix dropping into the 70s by Thursday. When's the last time you've seen that? And that is your West Coast Wrap Forecast.
All right, Roberta, thank you. An unusual sight on a San Francisco skyscraper today. Members of a dance troupe were seen performing on the side of San Francisco's famous Transamerica Pyramid, skillfully rappelling down the city's second tallest building. The group is called Bandaloop. an Oakland-based vertical dance company. San Francisco police confirmed the performance was permitted, but they have not said if it had any connection with the ongoing Apec summit happening in the city. Bandaloop has performed on other buildings around the world, including a recent performance on St. Paul's Cathedral in London. Coming up on West Coast Rap tonight, Hollywood actors are poised to vote tomorrow on that historic contract deal with the major studios. Tonight, we're hearing more details about exactly what's in that agreement. And the Stanley Cup champs visit Washington, D.C. Coming up, how the Vegas Knights were honored by President Biden at the White House. California's Medi-Cal system is making life a little bit easier for people living with diabetes. Medi-Cal officials have now standardized authorizations for all medications and supplies that help people to maintain a steady level of blood sugar. Until then, some authorizations lasted just weeks, and equipment had to be tracked down separately, often from different providers. Now all patients receive one-year authorizations for glucose, continuous glucose monitors, and other necessary equipment prescribed by their doctors. Most health insurance companies have followed that protocol for years. Hollywood actors are set to begin voting tomorrow on a contract that brought the 118-day strike to an end. The Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, says the 3-year contract is valued at more than $1 billion in new wages and benefit plan funding. Pay increases are reportedly close to 15%. There are also streaming bonuses and protections for AI. Ratification voting starts tomorrow and runs until the first week of December for eligible members, which includes 160,000 people. The Las Vegas Golden Knights took center stage today in Washington, D.C. President Biden welcomed the 2023 Stanley Cup champions to the White House for a celebration exactly 5 months to the day after their big win. The president was escorted into the room by team captain Mark Stone and delivered remarks noting just how successful this franchise has been in the 6 years since it was founded.
This team has proved that in Vegas, you can beat the odds. A trip to the finals in your first year, very first year. 5 total trips to the playoffs, 4 conference finals, 267 total wins in 6 years, one of the best win records in hockey.
It is pretty remarkable. President Biden was presented with a personalized Vegas Golden Knights jersey and hockey stick by team president George McPhee, as well as the team captain. While the team is in Washington, they will be facing off against the Washington Capitals tomorrow. And we are just a few days away from a crucial vote that is likely to decide the future of the Oakland A's. Major League Baseball's owners are meeting in Arlington, Texas this week, and at the top of the agenda is the A's pending move to Vegas. A vote is expected by the end of the week. If 23 of the 30 owners approve, A's owner John Fisher will have cleared a major hurdle in his efforts to move that team from Oakland to Las Vegas. However, if the deal is approved by the owners, it's still not over yet. Among other things, Major League Baseball still has to approve the A's stadium construction and operating agreements with Las Vegas. A long way to go, but a crucial vote happening later this week. That does it for West Coast Wrap tonight. We appreciate you watching. You can stay up to date on all the stories we're covering online. Just head over to westcoastwrap.com. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.